Welcome to the Rush Hour on Money 105.5. Now, EpicNewsSports.com presents sports guy Charlton Curry and the media man himself, Glenn Spillman.
Welcome back to the show. I'm the sports guy Charlton Curry, and we want to start by mentioning this section is sponsored by Epic News Sports, and you can find all kinds of good information with live coverage at epicnewssports.com, produced by Glenn Spillman. I'm the sports guy Charlton Curry. I know we just talked about gratitude, Glenn, and I'm very grateful about a lot of things, including the sports business. And talking about sports, we have Big C. He's a former All-Pro lineman with 40-plus years of experience as a player, a coach, radio, and TV broadcaster. Big C, talk NFL football for us.
Wonderful to be back here again on a lovely Friday. NFL football is up and rolling right now. It is great to be at this part of the season. Although a couple of teams are not doing as well as they expected, and I really want to look at Pittsburgh. They lost Ben Roethlisberger last weekend. Michael Vick didn't seem to have a firm grasp of the offense, but he's going to have a week under Todd Haley, the offensive coordinator, to come to grips with that offense. Cincinnati is a team that I'm really liking right now. They're just on a roll. Andy Dalton is playing as well as any quarterback in the NFL, and when you talk about quarterbacks playing well in the NFL, you have to look at Aaron Rodgers. A 5-touchdown performance last week against Kansas City in the rain. Right now, they have to be the early NFC favorite for the Super Bowl. But I really like to look at the Arizona Cardinals with Carson Palmer, 15-3 in his last 18 starts. And if he can stay healthy, it's going to be hard to beat the Cardinals and keep them out of their second Super Bowl. They went last time with Kurt Warner. Now they have another veteran in Carson Palmer that can possibly take them there. Cam Newton is playing well. He has Carolina off to their first 3-0 start since they went to the Super Bowl last time. I know it's early in the season, but you have to start lining teams up for that point in the season. In Atlanta, 3-0 also this year. They went to the Super Bowl before, so it's going to be a very interesting long season in the NFL.
Well, we appreciate that very much, Big C. We know NFL football is off and rolling. And also, Glenn, Big C just talked about some of the teams that have a chance to get there. I know Oakland, second win in a row, on the road, actually, and then they're playing Chicago next. Derek Carr had 300 yards passing. Amari Cooper over 100 yards receiving in the first half. He and Crabtree looked pretty good.
You know what? The Oakland Raiders look great on Sunday. I mean, they were a team that finally showed up this season. They had a couple miscues in the beginning, but I think they shook some bugs out, and they're doing really well.
Well, when you think about Bay Area football in Northern California, I know Big C covered the East Coast for us, but San Francisco 49ers, Jim Harbaugh's gone, and we can see what's happening with that organization. Colin Kaepernick, 4 interceptions. The O-line looks really bad. No quarterback can play well when he's laying on the ground. Talk about what happened in Arizona.
You know, I mean, Colin, I do not know what happened to that guy this year. I mean, 9 for 19, only 67 yards passing. I mean, he hit the big goose egg with 0 TDs, and, you know, his QBR rating, a bleak and anorexic 3.2.
And now they have Aaron Rodgers coming to town, who's the hottest quarterback in the NFL. They're playing at the new 49ers Levi Stadium. There's 3-0 teams in the NFL. Denver looks good, but they do have 2 wins based on their defense. Cincinnati, as Big C talked about, they're rolling right now. New England has a bye, but Tom Brady giving him one more week off to get their arm ready. And then Atlanta looks good. Carolina, want to congratulate Cam Newton for helping out a young kid that has cancer. So they do so many things that people don't hear about as much. And again, Arizona looking like a playoff team. And when we talk about the playoffs, college football, top 10 contenders. Ohio State, I know they're number 1, but I think it's based on what they did last year. Michigan State, they're number 2. Probably because they beat Oregon in a close game. Oregon got blown out by Utah. But we have Ole Miss. They're looking good. TCU and Baylor. Notre Dame, Glenn, they're playing at Clemson in a big game this weekend.
Yeah, that's going to be great. I mean, Notre Dame, I really think they're going to step up on that. You know, they've stepped up every week, and they've been very impressive. Another game I want to touch on just for a second is Alabama versus Georgia.
Yes.
They're going into hostile territory, and if Alabama loses this game, which I think they will by 3 points, I think they're going to be knocked out of contention.
Imagine Nick Saban, $7 million a year, and they're maybe looking at a Tier 2 bowl game. And again, Utah, they're not surprising a lot of people on the West Coast, but maybe nationwide they are, and LSU has a very good running back. Also, Glenn Spillman, I know you talk about golf and a lot of other things that mean a lot to you. Give us your thoughts on what's going on.
Well, I want to touch on the Oklahoma Sooners for a second. You know, they're playing home against West Virginia. Last year, they played in West Virginia. They won the game 45-33. Baker Mayfield, he's doing great, both with his arms and with his feet. He's 74 for 110. He's got 1,062 yards, 10 TDs. He only has 2 interceptions, which I think is pretty good. But they're kind of close in the points per game. OU's 41.3. West Virginia's a little bit better with 43.3. But where OU's struggling, they're allowing 21.7 points per game, where West Virginia is only 7.7. So I think it's going to be a struggle for them just a little bit. They might come back in the second half and really pour it on, but they got to get ready because October 10th, they've got the Red River Rivalry.
That's always a big game, especially down in the Southwest. And when we also look at playoffs, Major League Baseball, the National League, the Dodgers clinched in San Francisco. I know Giants fans don't want to hear that. St. Louis is looking very strong, and, of course, the Pirates. In the American League, Toronto, they've been all season long kind of the front runner coming out of the American League, along with the Yankees chasing them, and Kansas City looks good, as well as Texas and the Mets.
You know, the Yankees and Toronto have been ping-ponging all season long. Yankees first, Toronto's first. They've been bouncing back and forth. You know what? I'm watching Kansas City again. I think they're going to really step it up. The Dodgers, I've been picking them all year, and I'm going to stick with them.
Well, I just hope that we don't get a New York Mets, New York Yankees World Series. That would be disastrous for West Coast fans. And also, when you talk about football and sports, we like to also pay attention to the high school level. At the prep scene, number 1, Folsom, 37 games in a row in the regular season, unbeaten streak. They're playing number 4, Del Oro. Number 5, Granite Bay. They're playing state number 1, De La Salle, and that's an awesome football team. They have built a great program over there in the Bay Area. Number 2, Grant. They're hosting Elk Grove, ranked number 3. They're challenging for the Delta League immediately, so go support your local high school sports because they do a lot to bring football and soccer and basketball and all the great sports. Everything starts at the high school level, so spend some advertising dollars out there as well. It's really big in California. You can follow epicnewsports.com on Twitter at Epic News Sports for your college, pro, and prep teams. Now, Glenn, we also have NBA action coming up. Coach George Karl, in his interview, he thinks the Kings will challenge for the NBA Western Conference playoffs.
I think it's right. I think it's absolutely right. I think the Kings are going to come out balls blazing this year, and with Darren Collison and Seth Curry, I think with also the addition of Rajon Rondo, they're going to get it together this year, man. They're going to prove to everybody that they were the Kings of past.
Well, I tell you what, we all remember in the 2000s when they were always competing for championships. So basketball's back in Northern California. NBA looks really good. We also want to thank our sponsors, which is One Life America. I'm a life insurance broker with One Life America and United Law Center helping homeowners. Also, NFA, National Foreclosure Analyst. They help you get your net present value. And you can text 916-271-2788. And also, we'll have Charlton Curry, Glenn Spillman, Big C, and Jim Chung every Friday on the Rush Hour talking sports. And remember to visit epicnewsports.com to stay connected and text EPIC EPIC to 72727 to stay connected with Epic News and Epic News Sports. We'll be right back as we listen to a great life tip for your health presented by the Solutions for Life community with tools and solutions that work in healthcare, wealth care, and self-care.
Hi, this is Cammie Ferry with the Solutions for Life S4L community and the Theater Queen, here with a healthy tip that you can apply today. Those extra pounds carried around the stomach and midsection is known as visceral fat and is the most dangerous type of fat in the body, as it forms around the organs and deep within the abdominal cavity. It increases the risk of heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. To reduce visceral fat, cut out high-carb foods such as white rice and potatoes. Instead, eat lentils, chickpeas, pine nuts, and low-fat Greek yogurt, which stabilize the stress hormones, or cortisol levels, in the body. Drink green tea daily, which helps burn fat cells. Burn calories with a daily 30-minute cardio workout. running, walking, biking, jogging, dancing, anything that you enjoy that gets you up and moving and gets your heart rate up to a moderate or high intensity level at least 6 days per week.